millions of years ago, long before the first spear was sharpened, before bows and arrows sliced through the air, and even before the simplest knife was crafted, our ancient ancestors walked the earth. They had nothing but their bare hands, their keen instincts, and the raw, untamed power of nature itself. Survival wasn't a choice. It was a daily battle fought with cleverness, unwavering teamwork, and immense courage. This is the incredible story of how early humans hunted some of the fastest and strongest animals on the planet without a single weapon. Imagine a vast, sun-scorched African savanna. A small group of early humans, our distant relatives, moves across the endless grassland. They are searching for food. The sun is a relentless furnace in the sky. Water is a precious, fleeting resource. And the animals they seek are powerful and quick. At this point in history, they had no sharpened tools, no metal, no fire. Their entire arsenal consisted of rocks they could find on the ground, sticks they could break from trees, and the sheer strength of their own bodies. Their children were hungry. The tribe was growing weak. Choice loomed over them, as stark and clear as the horizon. Hunt or starve.
Ouch.
But how do you hunt when you are slower, weaker, and have no claws or fangs? You don't take on a lion head-on or challenge a massive buffalo. Our ancestors were intelligent. They chose their battles wisely, targeting animals they could outsmart, not overpower. They went after smaller deer, wild pigs, birds, and lizards. They also kept a sharp eye out for animals that were already at a disadvantage of the young, the old, or the wounded. Through countless trials and failures, early humans learned one fundamental truth that would change their destiny forever. They could not outrun the animals, but they could outlast them. This simple fact became their greatest advantage, the secret weapon that nature had gifted them. Their first tool wasn't something they made, it was something they found. Simple stone. They learned to pick the right ones, smooth stones that fit comfortably in their palms, heavy stones that could be thrown with force. Some stones were sharp enough to break bones, others were blunt enough to stun an animal from a distance. And sometimes, a volley of stones was just enough to scare a herd, to make them run in the exact direction the hunters wanted them to go. Picture it, a group of hunters, hidden in the tall grass, silent and still, each one clutching a heavy stone, waiting for the perfect moment. This is where their most remarkable strategy came into play. Persistence hunting. It was a marathon, not a sprint. When a target animal, maybe a kudu or a wildebeest, appeared, the group didn't charge in for a quick attack. Instead, they would startle it, making it bolt. The animal would sprint away at incredible speed, leaving the humans far behind. But the hunters didn't give up. They didn't even try to keep up. They just started jogging a steady, relentless pace. You see, most four-legged animals are built for short bursts of speed. They can outrun almost anything for a few minutes, but they overheat quickly. They have to stop and pant to cool down. Humans, on the other hand, are endurance champions. We can sweat from all over our bodies, a highly efficient cooling system. We can breathe deeply and consistently while running. So, the hunters would just follow. They would jog and walk for hours under the hot sun. The animal would run, then stop to rest, thinking it had escaped. But soon on the horizon, it would see them again. The small, upright figures still coming. Panic would set in, and it would run again, and again, and again. Each sprint drained its energy. The hunters just kept up the pressure, never letting it rest long enough to recover. After hours of this relentless pursuit, the exhausted animal would eventually collapse, unable to move another step. This was persistence hunting, one of the oldest and most successful hunting methods in human history, powered by stamina and sheer will. But they didn't just rely on their bodies. They used their minds to turn the very land into a weapon. The tribe learned to read the terrain like a map, using nature as a giant, inescapable trap. They would strategically chase animals toward thick mud pits, where their hooves would get stuck. They would drive them toward the edge of a cliff or a steep ravine, leaving them with nowhere to go. They surrounded them against large rock formations or forced them into narrow gullies where escape was impossible. Without a single crafted tool, the earth itself became their greatest ally. Even developed simple traps using only what was around them. They dug deep pit traps, camouflaging the opening with leaves and branches. On hillsides, they would position heavy boulders, ready to be pushed downhill to block a path or injure an animal. hiding behind trees or in dense bushes along a game trail, waiting to surprise their prey. They even chased animals into rivers or lakes, where the water would slow them down, making them vulnerable. Each simple trap was a testament to their growing intelligence and their ability to solve complex problems. When the moment of truth arrived, and the animal was finally cornered or too exhausted to stand, the hunters would close in. But they did it cautiously, with respect for the animal's power. They kept a safe distance. Then, in a coordinated effort, the final attack began. A shower of stones. One hunter would throw, aiming for the legs. Another would aim for the ribs, another for the head. It wasn't one single blow that brought the animal down, but the cumulative effect of many. The final victory wasn't won through brute strength. It was a triumph of teamwork, intelligence, and incredible patience. The hunt was over. With great effort, they would lift their prize and begin the long journey back to their camp. As they approached, the rest of the tribe would emerge. Children would gather with wide, curious eyes. The elders would nod in approval. It wasn't loud, boastful cheering, but a quiet, profound sense of gratitude. This successful hunt meant everything. It was food that would feed the entire group for days. It provided bones that could be used as rudimentary digging tools or scrapers. The skin would offer cover from the cold night air. The fat provided a dense source of energy. For one more day, the tribe was safe. Think about that. Our ancestors survived one of the harshest environments imaginable with no technology, no modern comforts, and no real protection against the world. Yet they rose to become the most successful hunters on Earth. They did it because they learned to work together, because they planned and strategized, because no matter how difficult the challenge, they simply never, ever gave up. That legacy of cooperation and persistence is coded into our very DNA. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more stories about our incredible human history. See you next time.